Hey friend, welcome back. I'm super excited that you're here. Today, we are going to dig into your dream business. And the reason I want to do that is because there's lots of business opportunities out there and there's lots of ways to make money online. But when we think about a dream business, to me, okay, this is what I'm thinking. My process on this is that I wanted a business that checks boxes for me for the lifestyle that I actually want to have. Because some businesses, when you start a business, it can be just like having another job, right? And that to me is what I don't want. I don't want to have anything to do with that. I want freedom. I want flexibility. I want all these things. And so the reason that I know what I want is because I have been in a few other businesses in my life. Like when I very first got started in the world of entrepreneurship, the very first experience that I had with it was network marketing. And network marketing is a beautiful industry. Absolutely. I love products from there. I believe so much in network marketing. But the thing about network marketing is that it does take time, right? And you have to do things in a certain way. Like, for instance, a lot of times it's spending lots and lots of time on social media, lots of time in, DMs or calling all your friends and family or networking events. Like I used to do that when I first started. I did lots of networking events, which never really got me that far, but I spent a lot of time doing it. So there's all kinds of ways that we have, that we can build a business. So that's what I want to dig into, because when I did, when I sold Rainbow Vacuums, which is a whole home cleaning system, that was, again, a beautiful product, a beautiful business model. I made really good money at it, but it burned me out because I'm driving to someone's house to do a live demo. That demo can take anywhere from 2 to 3.5 hours sometimes, depending on how many questions they had and all the things. And then I would have to drive home. And the other thing about that is that that's direct sales, like face-to-face direct sales. And so it is mostly evenings and weekends because that's when people are home. So that was the other thing that didn't work for me. So I did it for like over a year, but then I got burnt out and decided, no, I need something else. And so the first thing that I think you want to look at when you are thinking about a dream business, it's like, what is a dream business for starters? What does that look like? What do you want your life to look like? And how much of your time do you want to use on business? Like for me, I want to make an impact. That means I want to be able to go and to give when I feel called to do so, right? So I don't want to have something that I have to work at like 8 hours a day, or like I want something that I can fit into the pockets of my day. I want something that can pay me really well. And I wanted something that, I don't have to be there all the time to make a sale. And so the only reason I know that that's a thing is because I've gone through other things in my life where I've seen how they're built and how that changes your lifestyle. So what is your dream business? So figure that thing out first. What is it? How much time can take? How much money can you make from it? What kind of impact can you see with it, or whatever. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, why do you want to start a business? What's your internal motivation? Internal motivation is different than external, because external is from some outside force or situation or something. So as soon as that situation is gone, or that external person or whatever that was kind of pumping you up, as soon as they're no longer there, it can become really hard to do the daily activities in order to make money. But when you are internally focused, internally motivated, internally motivated, that means that's always inside of you. That comes from, why do you want to do this in the first place? And so as soon as you get clear on those two things, then the next thing that I found through, again, trial and error, and I'm just trying to shortcut your journey, my friend, so that, if you haven't gone through all of these trials and errors, maybe you don't have to by learning from what I have done. But the next thing is, so many, many, many people idolize hard work. They think that the harder they work, the better they should be paid. But unfortunately, that is very, very far from the truth. Because if that were true, think about all the jobs that, like the very labor-intensive jobs that people do and they don't make very much money at. So that's the other thing about, about being an entrepreneur is you get to decide, right? You get to decide what you are okay with, like where your boundaries are, and you get to choose to change it or whatever. And so that's why to me it's really important to look at different, really dig into what it is that you want your life to look like and build your business around your lifestyle. Build your business around your calling, your purpose. And so I have heard someone say that, their business should be their passion. But I'm not really sure that I believe that, because sometimes when our passion becomes our business, we can lose the passion for that thing, because all of a sudden now it changes the dynamic. When we have to try to earn a living from that passion, it can change things. And I had a business coach one time tell me that she didn't think that was the right way to think, because she said, go make the money so that you can do your passion. And I went, yes, that resonates with me so much, right? Go make the money doing whatever it is that you need to do so that you can fund your own passion. So hard work is not necessarily the road to success. And in fact, I would challenge you to rethink that totally, because the harder we work, sometimes the less money we make. So what can we do instead? So there's this whole culture around hustle and grind. You've probably heard this, right? Like, I gotta hustle. Some people wear the shirts, hustle, grind, repeat, whatever, all these shirts, all these sayings. But here's what I'm really learning about. And God has really been showing me this and opening my heart and my mind to this, is that when we work from His grace and His favor, we don't have to hustle and grind, because His way is not the way of the world. The way of the world is hustle and grind, get it done, be self-made, all of that stuff. God's way is come to me, if you're heavy laden, come to me and I will give you rest. That's God's way. God's way is so much simpler. And so it's learning how to work from a place of grace over grind. And I got that Grace Over Grind from this book called Grace Over Grind by Shae Bynes. Highly recommend the book. You should totally read it, because she talks all about how we can step into God's grace and God's favor in our business. So that means we partner with Him. We're not doing business for Him. We're not, we are partnered with Him. That means we set goals with Him. We get direction from Him. We dream with Him, like all these things. When we learn to do this, it is such a beautiful thing. And so Shae Bynes has actually taught me to have these divine business meetings with God, which I love. This is time that I just spend with Him. I have a journal. I just say, okay, like this morning, for instance, what's on your heart for this business? What's on your heart for the people that I'm called to serve? And that's why I'm actually doing this podcast episode tonight, because that's what He told me this morning. He told me to be God-directed and Holy Spirit-led, and to show the people what it means to be a kingdom business working with grace and not grind or hustle. So He wanted me to show you that there's a different way, a better way. And I have a couple stories. Like when I was doing the rainbow business, when I was selling the rainbow business, the beautiful thing about that was that because I had no idea what I was doing when I started, but I was in a really desperate situation. I wanted that rainbow. I wanted to have one in my own home, but that was it's an expensive house cleaning system. It was at that point, like however many years ago that was over $3,000 then. And so now with inflation, I have no idea what it costs now, but I wanted it so badly. And I'm like, okay, I need to get this thing paid for. I'm going to do the business. I'm going to get this thing paid for, because that's the only way that I can have it. I was a single mom then. It was the only way that I could have it. And so I jumped in full on faith first. Like that's all I had was faith. And I just kept saying, okay, Lord, show me how. And it was the most amazing thing. That business went so smoothly. Like in order to get all the attachments that go with that machine, you had to sell, I think it was like nine rainbows in the course of 3 months or something like that. I might be wrong on the numbers, but it was something like that. And what happened was an absolute miracle from God. I sold 9 rainbows in the first 2 weeks. And you know why? Because I gave God all the glory. I leaned on him 100% because I had no idea what I was doing. I didn't know how to do the demonstration. I didn't know who I was supposed to do it for. But God kept bringing me more and more people because we had this referral program inside that business. And so I got all these referrals. People just kept giving me referrals and giving me referrals. And so I was so busy, and I sold, I think I sold 90% of the demos that I did in those first 2 weeks, which was amazing, right? Like absolutely amazing. And so for the first I think it was probably the first year of that business. That's how it went. I had so much business. I had so many referrals. I had, like, everything was just running so beautifully until, guess what happened? Until I started to get tired of being away from my kids, get tired. And then I started to not lean on God. I started to get cocky. I started to go, no, I did this. Like, I did this and I'm doing this. And guess what happened? The well basically dried up. And then it got to be a real struggle. And that's really when I powered out. Actually, I think it probably happened. If I remember right, and it's been quite a few years since I did that business, but I probably started leaning on myself before I got tired. Because I don't remember getting tired at the beginning. I was just like, wow, I'm just giving her, right? Things are going fantastic. But it makes sense to me that would have gone the other way, that I would have started leaning more on myself, less on God. And then it got harder to do, harder to find the people, harder to make the sale. And then I got burnt out. And so that was what God kind of revealed to me this morning when I was in my divine meeting with him, was to tell you about that particular experience of what happens when I was leaning on him and trusting him and fully present with him to when I wasn't. The business got a lot harder. And he also reminded me, so I did a sermon at our church a few weeks back. And when I do a sermon, I don't write it out word for word. Like I go through the information. Well, first I ask God, what do you want me to talk about? And then I get the idea, and then I go in, do the research, find the scriptures, and I just do everything point form. Because to me, in my head, it is not my sermon. It's not my message. It's God's. So I don't have to have it perfect, because I'm like, he's going to fill in the gaps where I am weak. And so anyway, this one particular sermon, I did it just like I always do, wrote my bullet points down, did whatever. And then at the end of the sermon, not my sermon, but at the end of the sermon, at the end of the message, all of a sudden God put it on my heart to do an altar call and to call people up and to, those that wanted to get closer to God or those that wanted to hear from him better or whatever. And so I did this altar call. Didn't prepare for it, didn't practice it, didn't need to prep anyone ahead of time. And get this, like 90% of the church came up front to get prayer and to just stand for God. And like, I was just like, that's beautiful. But God reminded me the next morning in my devotions that that's how business should go. That is how business should go. I should just be able to do what God tells me to do. And then the rest should come. And so that's what he put on my heart this morning is that those stories I was to be sharing with you in this podcast, because for you to see and for me to be reminded what happens when we lean on God, what happens when we use the whole grace over grind principle instead of the hustle culture, right? So that was the next thing that I wanted to just really fill you in on, is that's how you have your dream business, is by leaning on the Lord 100%, like 100%. Like, we have so many people inside of our community that are glorifying God, that are Christians, that are believing on the Lord and are having amazing success. Now, not everybody inside of our community is a Christian, and that's fine, right? They don't have to be, but it just amazes me to see some of these, and again, not everybody that's having success is a Christian. However, I pay attention to the Christians, right? Because I am a believer, so I pay attention to them. But the beautiful thing is that the movement that is happening inside of this community is that people want to make a difference. They want to make an impact, right? They want to make an impact with the money that they are making. And that speaks to my heart. Like, that's obviously why I have this podcast. That's why I do all the things. And that is truly why this business, one of the reasons why this business checked all the boxes for me. So I wanted something that could be done in the nooks and crannies of my day. So we are taught how to use attraction marketing. That means we don't have to DM anyone. We don't have to, get on the phone with our friends and family. We don't have to, sit on social media all day long. We do a little bit of content and we go, right? And the reason that works is because we have an automated sales system. So we get out there, we put the message out there, and then our system works 24/7 when we stop working, which I love, right? Because to me, if I'm going to go and make an impact and whatever, go on mission trips or help my people in my community or whatever, I need to have time. And so that automated sales system is like the creme de la creme, because it's such a beautiful system. It's working all the time. And then the other thing is that, I needed to be able to make really good money. I don't want to just get a small percentage. I want to make really good money. I want to make high income from this business. And that's why, again, these done for you digital products, we get to resell for 100% profit. So that means you could have a $900 customer, even if you had like one $900 customer a week, and as we get better, it's going to be one $900 customer perhaps a day. Some people are getting more than one a day. And that to me is like so awesome, because we now get to make really good money, not working all the time and not having to do all the things that typically come with lots of money. Like when you think about a high paying job, usually there's a lot of responsibility that comes with those jobs, right? So there goes your time. But in this case, we don't have to, everything is done. The mentoring, there's mentoring and live coaching every single week. I don't have to do it. There is a whole community built with all kinds of trainings and all kinds of things. I didn't have to do that either. The products are in high demand. I didn't have to build them. And then the short time that I spend getting the message out, that's really the only responsibility I have. The system is automated, and it was a done for you system. I just had to plug my information into it. That's all. So that to me is why this business is my dream business. It's why it works so well for me to be able to give and to go when I feel called to give and to go, right? It just checks so many of the boxes. And so again, if you want to know more about the business that I am super excited about, then just go to buildingimpactmakers.biz, and also in the show notes, you can see the link in the show notes, because that'll show you everything that you need to know. You'll put your email in, you'll get 2 videos from my mentor, and those videos typically explain 99% of people's questions. But if you're in the 1% that still has questions, that's totally fine. And then just reply to any of the emails that you get from me, which is hello@buildingimpactmakers.biz. Just reply to any of those, and I will definitely answer those questions for you. And here's the thing. The really awesome thing about this is that there's no rejection. If you get in there and you watch the videos and you read some of my emails and you decide, no, this isn't actually what I want to do, this isn't my dream business, then you just unsubscribe. I don't ever call you. I don't ever try and, hustle and make you feel guilty it's just you just come in and you just go. It's really that simple. And so I would highly suggest to just go and check it out, right? Because seeing the information costs nothing. But what could happen is it could transform your life beyond anything you've ever seen before, so that you can actually make a bigger impact, right? Earning more so you can serve more, giving more, and living more. I mean, that's my thing. May not be your thing, but anyway, I pray this blesses you, my friend. And if you have been blessed, and if you have been encouraged or motivated by this particular episode, would you please just drop a review on Apple Podcasts, so that that way I know what you need, and if I'm giving you what you need, and also other people can find it easier. And share it with others, so that, if you know someone is in need of this, and by all means, share it. Okay, my friend, I will see you next week. Take care, and God bless.